The wait is over. The talking is done. 60 years of history have led us to this grass in Santa Clara, California. Today, the world stops to watch two titans collide for the ultimate prize. On one side, the AFC champion New England Patriots, a dynasty reborn, led by the phenom Drake Maye and the grit of Mike Vrabel, chasing a record-breaking 7th Super Bowl championship. On the other side, the NFC champion Seattle Seahawks. Sam Darnold's unbelievable redemption story meets the relentless new age Legion of Boom. It's a rematch a decade in the making, and the ultimate quest for the Lombardi on the biggest stage in sports history. You are locked into Clearing the Bench, and this is Super Sunday Takeover. ETB's coverage of Super Bowl 60 starts right now.
Everybody, welcome into the Super Bowl edition of Unnecessary Wagers. We have made it to the big game, the most bittersweet time of the year. Love watching the Super Bowl. Horrible because it's the end of football, but here we are at the Super Bowl. Nick, how do you feel going into the Super Bowl?
You mean, are you asking me this question as a Jet fan? Because
no, just in general, Super Bowl week.
I don't like Super Bowl week very much. It's horrible. I mean, look, I love watching the Super Bowl. I've never missed a Super Bowl, but it's just a reminder. I feel about it similar to the way I feel about the Army-Navy game. It's just a reminder that football season is over. And it's also like the last football games to target football fans specifically is the championship games. The Super Bowl is like as much a pop culture event as it is a football event. Mm-hmm. That's why, like, the halftime show is always such a big deal and things like that. So I have mixed, I guess you could say I have mixed feelings about the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel the way I do too about, I feel like it's similar to like the Final Four, where like I love the Final Four and I love betting on the Final Four, but it's also the ending of like the best tournament of the year. So it's similar in that way. I do love the Super Bowl just as a whole. I mean, we don't have much experience. You have none. I have a little bit of.
I mean, you've seen them win it twice, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, but the point is to say it's mostly like watching your team in it would be bad. I feel like would completely ruin the Super Bowl experience.
It wouldn't be fun.
I don't know how anyone could sit there and enjoy it with your team in it.
Actually, I think you could enjoy it a lot more if you're sitting it and watching it with other people who are fans of the same team. So if the Jets are in the Super Bowl, I'd want to watch it with a bunch of Jet fans.
But I don't know if enjoy would be the right word, because
you're right. I wouldn't enjoy it, but it would make it more enjoyable.
Yeah,
if the Jets were in the Super Bowl, I'd be like, I can't wait for the Super Bowl to be over.
Right. Exactly. It's kind of I felt that way with like several big Knicks playoff games last year, where it was like I'm not like enjoying the fact that they're playing right now. Like it's just adding stress. But since we're casual observers, and now we've certainly gotten more into gambling. I mean, it is a great gambling event, but I do feel like a lot of for a lot of gamblers like us, like I feel like a lot of the pageantry around the Super Bowl was the prop bets and stuff like that. But now, I mean, every game has a prop bet, so I feel like in that way it's lost a bit of luster gambling wise.
Yeah, a little bit. Like I like look, you can make prop bets in any game, but I think there seems to be more prop bets available with this game. Like you also have like these weird poly market, and I looked at poly market last night to see some of the bets that they had. I mean, I know it's not like a regular sports book; it's a prediction market, but I saw some of their like non-football bets that you could make. Yeah, we can get into that later in the show, but I always find that to be kind of interesting.
Did you see the thing at the Grammys where Trevor Noah said potato? He just like said it randomly, and then he was like, "If you bet money on Polymarket for me to say potato, you just made a shit ton."
Was that an actual bet?
I get. I mean, you could bet anything, but if someone made it, yeah, probably. But I think it was.
Here's the problem with things like Polymarket, though. Like, if somebody has some random bet up there, like Trevor Noah saying potato, and then he gets word of it and then just says potato.
Right, which is
like it's so ridiculous.
I think that was the point. Was he was showing how easy it could be to rig the Polymarket. Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot more added to it, especially like you said with the prediction markets and stuff like that being added in this year. We have a repeat Super Bowl with Seattle and New England. I split. We didn't do a show, so I don't know how well you did, but I split my side bets on my bets on the side for the championship. I had Denver plus 4.5, but I also had the Rams getting 2.5. Neither bet was really, it was up in the air the whole game for both of those sides. How did you do on championship weekend?
I went 50-50. I had I had the Seahawks and I won, but I also had New England. So I went 50-50. And I think I also, if I'm not mistaken, I also had the over in the Seahawks Rams game. So I actually did.
Yeah, I had that as well. Yeah.
I did a little better. I know it's easy in hindsight. I should have known that I should have taken the under in the Patriots Broncos game, given how much snow there was going to be. And we all kind of knew there was going to be a lot of snow. I felt kind of stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I just could never bet an under ever. It's just horrible to watch. But the pet peeve that you have outside of the Patriots winning, I know that you have a massive pet peeve, which is when a team wins but doesn't cover the spread.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, unless I'm already rooting against that team anyway. But yeah, I don't like a team like the Patriots, who I root against all the time anyway. I just like, the thing with that outcome is that it was the worst for me in every possible way. I lost my bet against the spread, and the Patriots also won. So I had the worst of both worlds.
Right. Yeah, you really did. I mean, that was the only thing I could say about it is the Patriots were never covering ever. So, like, yeah. I feel like that at least that it wasn't like a backdoor or anything like that. Like, you never were winning at all.
I was more mad that the Patriots ended up winning the game outright than I was that they didn't cover the spread. I was more mad about that because, the Broncos could have easily won that game if Sean Payton was maybe a little bit smarter.
Yeah.
And so I was just kind of pissed about that.
Yeah, I mean it's just one of those things where I feel like it's in hindsight, it looks worse. But I feel like a lot of what was talked about was, well, Sean Payton should have went for it. He should have kicked the field goal, which he should have. But I think what was overlooked in that was it was also a horrific play call.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
It was 4th and 1. He probably should have QB sneaked it. And it was just a rollout pass. It was just a horrible play call. It was a horrible decision all around. And it was a momentum changer. And certainly looks worse in hindsight. But I do think that in the moment, it was one of those situations where in the moment, even Tony Romo was saying they should just take the field goal.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think in that game, just in general, it was unwatchable. Like, I know football fans sometimes like to glorify playing games in the snow because in football you play in the elements or whatever. And I get that. I totally get all that. I'm not saying every game needs to be played in a climate controlled dome or anything like that. But like, why do we have to glorify it and pretend that the game wasn't unwatchable? It was a horrible game.
It was the worst football game I've ever watched in my life. It was horrible.
Certainly for a playoff game. I would never have watched it if it weren't a playoff game.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad, which was the inverse was after it, because I think Seahawks Rams might have been the best playoff game I've ever watched. It was really, It was terrific. It was end to end. There was so much intrigue in it. There was so much with the muffed punt leading to a touchdown. Then you had the the taunting call leading to a touchdown. Stafford getting a 4th and goal. It was a terrific game. It was. I think it was the Super Bowl. I mean, we'll get into the picks, but to me, that was a sort of quasi Super Bowl because I think that those were the 2 best teams in the NFL right there.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I mean, I actually had a whole bunch of prop bets in that game that hit. Wait, I can bring them up right now. So in that week, I haven't really bet since. All right, so I had JSN plus 165 as an anytime touchdown score. I bet that live. I had the over, as I said, Seattle. And then I had the Patriots minus 3.5. So I went 3 for 4. 3 for 4 that week. So overall, it was a pretty good week for me. I agree completely. That was one of the best playoff games I've ever seen. It was a great game. And there's a whole lot of shoulda, woulda, coulda with people like criticizing Sean McVay's play calls and things like that. I don't think Sean McVay's play calls were in the same category as Sean Payton's in that game. I mean, people were criticizing McVay for going for it on 4th down. I don't really think that play call was that bad. I just think it didn't work in the moment. Just because the execution didn't work doesn't mean the play call was not bad.
Yeah, it was probably a worse. It was a worse throw. It was just the throw, basically. I think.
Yeah,
he was covered. He was covered. It wasn't going to do anything. Like I just felt that way. Like it wasn't the best of throws, and you can't blame him. And I thought the most ridiculous was the people saying, "Oh, he should go for a field goal there." Of course not. They couldn't stop Seattle the whole game. Yeah. You have a chance to take the lead right there. It's like no. I never thought that ever until someone brought up, "Oh, they should have brought the field goal." That was never even a thought that crossed my mind. Oh, they should.
No. And I don't think it was a thought that crossed anybody's mind. And they would have ended up being down 1. They weren't stopping Seattle. I think that if they had to go for it and take the lead because at that point it would have been a momentum changer. And you know what? The truth is, Seattle was just a better team than the Rams. Like I think they really just were a better team overall. I mean, the Rams, I think that late in the season, they've shown that they had a lot of flaws. And I don't think they were really I didn't expect them to win. I didn't expect them to beat Seattle regardless. But I think one of the biggest plays had to have been, I mean, not just the muffed punt, obviously, which if you're going to blame anybody, you can blame the muffed punt for the Rams winning. But the other thing that also happened was obviously the taunting call, which could have cost Seattle the game. Like imagine if Seattle had lost and how much that would have been brought up. I mean, I regret not betting on Puka Nacua to be an anytime touchdown scorer.
Yeah, even though those were probably odds on. But yes, that is definitely that was definitely a big play. You know that we're different gamblers, by the way, because you went into the app and said you haven't really bet since the AFC Championship game. So I counted mine, and I've bet 47 college basketball games since.
See, I haven't bet college basketball. I haven't really been following it that much.
We're a bit different, but you're also a big tables game guy too. So
well, exactly. So I think we're different gamblers.
Yeah.
I think we're roughly equivalent in the long term because I also bet like every time I go to Vegas or Atlantic City, I'm betting in total like $1,000, probably even more playing the tables.
Yeah, that it's a little depressing after the week between it's probably about 4 weeks between the Super Bowl and March Madness. It kind of feels like the summer to me. Like you're just desperate to bet on anything. It's really hard to find stuff to bet on. It's just tough for me to do NBA sometimes. It's tough for me to do college all the time. So that's like the worst. But I do love Super Bowl bets.
And the Australian Open is also already over. So we don't even have that.
That's such a, I said this on the ETB Lounge episode that we had last week. It's such a clutch event for gamblers like us that are late night, because it's just on late at night, really late at night.
Yeah.
Into all hours of the night, especially when the early rounds are on, because you have it from like 7 to like 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
That's the best. But yeah, so it's tough, but we are going to get into it. So let's get in.
Wait a minute. Can I just plug everything first?
Yeah.
You can follow us across social media at ETB Network. You can follow this. You can follow the Moving the Goalposts podcast on social media at MTGP ETB. You can follow me on Twitter at Nick DiMartino and Liam at Liam MTGP. And this show is sponsored by nobody. So
we have we're devoid of sponsor right now.
Yeah, we're a sponsorless show right now.
Jesus.
All right, yeah, we can.
All right. Well, with that said, let's get into the picks here. I am going to start with. So we're going to do some prop bets, and then we'll get into the sides and the totals. So I am going to start with one. Excuse me. What the hell? I'm going to start with one unit. I am taking Sam Darnold plus 125 to be MVP. Now, this you can only bet in certain states. New York is not one of them. But if you're in a different state where you can bet it, I think that if you are going to take a team to win, say it's the Seahawks or if it's the Patriots, you should take their quarterback to win MVP. So I like the Seahawks to win. I think it'd be very tough for JSN to win MVP because if he had 3 touchdowns, it means that Sam Darnold threw him the 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So I would I would take Drake Maye if I thought that the Patriots are going to win, and I am going to go with Sam Darnold MVP.
What state? How are you able to bet it if you can't bet it in New York?
New Jersey, you can.
Oh, so in New Jersey you could bet. So basically, New Jersey is full of New York gambling refugees.
Yeah,
like if you want
to for a long time, New Jersey had it way before New York.
Yeah, and also, I mean, the only difference in the reverse would be if you want to bet on a Rutgers game, you would have from New Jersey, you'd have to go to New York.
Yeah.
But to bet on Syracuse, you'd have to go from New York to New Jersey. I mean, look, if I were to bet against Rutgers, I could just drive 5 minutes to New York. So it's not really a big deal.
I believe when gambling was not legal in New York, you used to get stopped by the censors sometimes because it thought you were in New York. That's how.
Yes, that happened because I'm so close to New York that sometimes it would say, "Oh, you're in New York." But now everywhere that I ever really go, sports gambling is legal. I never really leave New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. And
yeah,
I mean, I guess when I go to Vegas occasionally, then I can. Yeah, the only place I went where I don't even know. I don't even know. Is it legal in Texas? That's the only place I've been where. Okay, that's the only place I've been where sports in the past like 6 months or so where sports betting isn't legal. So it's really just never been an issue for me. But I remember I went to, and I think I've told the story before, but I remember before gambling was legal in Connecticut, I went to Mohegan. And look, Mohegan Cloud is not my favorite casino. It's a little, I don't know if you've ever been there, but at the time I went there and they had a race book, but they didn't have a sports book. I went there because thinking it was a college football Saturday. I didn't realize sports gambling wasn't legal there. And I thought they were going to have a sports book so I could like watch college football. It was actually the day that Georgia got blown out by LSU in 2018. I don't know if you remember that. And I don't know if you remember that.
No, it's funny that you remember such detail like that.
Yeah, it was that day. That's the only thing I really remember about that day. But they had this place called, I think it's called like the Bow and Arrow Bar. Everything there is like named after something Native American, and they have like this Bow and Arrow Bar. But all it is a sports bar, and like there's maybe sound on one TV or whatever. It's just it isn't the same. Anyway, my 1 unit play, I am taking JSN for over 95.5 receiving yards. I like the over with a star receiver like JSN because all it takes is one really big play for the over to hit very easily. I think it might take a little while. It probably, I don't think it's going to be like, I don't think this game is going to have a ton of offense, but I think that he's going to be the number one target. And I think at some point he'll get a big enough play to be able to cover this number. I'm taking that for my 1 unit.
All right. I am taking Seahawks first quarter -6.5. It's plus 230. So I believe the real first quarter number is closer to 1.5. But I think the Seahawks are going to be pretty dominant in this game, and all they got to do is be up 7-0, which I think is pretty simple at the end of the first quarter for this to hit at plus 230. I wanted to reach at plus 575 for 7.5, but I was a little scared by that hook. And I think that the Seahawks are going to start fast here, so I'm taking at plus 230 Seahawks first quarter -6.5.
Okay. My 2-unit play is I'm taking Kenneth Walker to get over 72.5 rushing yards. I like this because I think Seattle is going. If this game goes like what most Patriot games have, all the Patriot playoff games have gone so far, Seattle's going to be running the ball a lot. I also anticipate that Seattle will be playing from ahead for much of this game. If Seattle's playing ahead for most of this game, they're going to be running the ball with Kenneth Walker a lot, and I think he'll be able to rack up a lot of yards. Even if he doesn't have a great game, I think just from using him a lot, which I anticipate will probably happen. So I like Kenneth Walker 73 or more.
All right. Yeah, I like that too. All right. Third prop I am taking. So again, I think that we'll get to that in the side, and I'll explain why I'm taking this bet. I am taking Patriots plus 110, last team to score. I think that the Seahawks are going to win pretty dominantly, and I think that lends itself to garbage time scores by the Patriots. So I like the odds there of the Patriots being the last team to score, getting plus money. If you think the Seahawks, if it's going to be close, then that's sort of a moot bet because who knows who'll score that one. But thinking the Seahawks are going to win, I think you're going to see some garbage time points. So give me the Patriots plus 110, last team to score.
So the game could be completely over. And I think I know where you're going for the Super Bowl. Or are you working?
No. What do you mean?
Oh, you're okay.
No, I'm going to be in California actually.
Oh, you're going to be never mind. So depending on where you are, I don't know if you're going to be I don't know where you're going to be. But you would be the one guy at a Super Bowl party when everybody else stops paying attention.
Yes.
Freaking out about that last touchdown scored.
Yes. Yes. Well, I was, I do that often. I was, I remember I was at a baseball game one time with a bunch of friends, and the game was like 7-0, and like no one was paying attention, but I was like sweating out over 7.5.
Yeah,
and it's like that, but it also adds some intrigue. I mean, if the Patriots are, if the game is 30-7 or whatever, it adds intrigue to the ending.
Yeah, no, it absolutely does. All right, my 3-unit play. I am taking. Are we doing? Wait, so we're doing. All right, I have a bunch of picks actually, but all right, if we're doing 5, okay, I'll get rid of one of them.
Give out whatever you want to do.
Okay, cool. All right, my 3-unit play. Patriots first drive ends in a punt. I just think that typically, like the Patriots offense in the playoffs has struggled against every team that they've played. I have no reason to believe it's going to be any different against the Seahawks. It's always going to be a little harder. I mean, the beginning of games tends to favor defenses a little more. The end of games tends to favor offenses a little more because defenses tend to get tired late in games, whereas they're more fresh earlier in the games. I anticipate the same thing is probably going to happen in this game. I think the first drive probably ends in a punt. The Patriots offense, they have not won games because of their offense.
No.
Not at all. Their offense against Houston was terrible. They didn't play any offense against Denver. Granted, it was 10 feet of snow, but they didn't play any offense against the Chargers either. It's probably going to be the exact same thing against Seattle. Like, I have no reason to believe it's going to be any different. So the first drive ends in a punt.
Do you have any other props that you wanted to give out?
Yes. My 4-unit play, I'm going to take Drake Maye under 220.5 passing yards for 4 units.
Okay. I'm going to take
I'm surprised you didn't pick that one.
I'm going to take color of the Gatorade green. I gave that out on ETB Lounge as well. If you think that the team that you think is going to win, you should also take the Gatorade color. Another bet you can't make in New York, but you can make in New Jersey. I always love those. And I'm also going to give out Tails coin toss.
What? Is that 50-50 odds?
Yeah.
Okay.
I always take Tails. I always take over national anthem, which a lot of places almost don't do anymore because of that guy that filmed the national anthem that time, 5 years ago. A guy filmed the national anthem rehearsal.
Oh, really?
And it went viral, and then they had to take it down, which the guy's a moron for putting it out when he could have just
I know.
dollars. I always like to take those ones. So again, like you said, like when most people are sitting down, getting ready to watch the game, getting fired up, putting the beer out, putting the chips out, I'm sweating out. Will the girl hold Land of the Free long enough for me to?
I can see that happening. You're like, go.
Yeah, which it has happened. All right, let's get into the sides and the totals. Let's start with the total. Over under is 45.5. I'm gonna take. So I don't like to bet it. I probably won't. I'll decide closer to game time. With all these bets, I might just end up betting it, but I'm gonna take the under. Mainly just I think that the Seahawks defense is really going to feast on the Patriot offense. And the Broncos have a good defense. Like you said, the Patriots didn't score a touchdown, or they scored a touchdown, kind of. They got the ball at the 10-yard line and scored a touchdown. So they scored one touchdown. They were set up very nicely against the Texans, but outside of C.J. Stroud's turnovers really setting them up well and pick sixes, the offense struggled against that good defense too. And I think you're going to see that here. And I think that the difference is, Sam Darnold, which is crazy to say, but Sam Darnold just doesn't make as many mistakes, or hasn't made as many mistakes as Stidham and as Stroud. So when the Patriots aren't set up well, are they going to be able to really move the ball down and score? I don't know. Not from what we've seen this playoffs, I don't see anything that would indicate that.
And knowing the way Seattle plays, if the Patriots aren't scoring a lot of points, I don't see them running up the score. No. I see them playing a little more conservatively if they're going to be playing from ahead. They're not a team like – I don't think Seattle is so much a team like the Rams, where like the Rams are very like pass happy. And regardless of the circumstance they're in, they tend to play like they're playing from behind, which kind of cost them a little bit against the Panthers in the playoffs. And Seattle, I think they're a little bit more strategic in how they play. And if the Patriots aren't scoring a lot, which I anticipate, which I don't think they will, like if the Patriots play the way they did in all their other playoff games, Seattle's not going to be scoring a lot of points. Like if Seattle wins, they're not going to win by just running up the score.
No,
I just don't think they're going to do that. The way Seattle, I know they put up 41 points against the Niners, but they also used Darnold very sparingly. And the Patriots are not injured like the 49ers were. So I don't think they're going to be able to do that. So I also like the under here. I'll put 5 units on it. Look, I really just think this game is going to be under. for all those reasons.
Yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
I don't think the Patriots are going to score much. Mainly.
Well, and the Patriots also on their side of the ball, on the other side of the ball, they probably have the best defense that the Seahawks have seen in some time.
Yeah.
So I do think that, and I agree with you that I think that if the Seahawks get ahead, which I think we both think they will, I think that we're going to see a lot of pacing. Like you talked about, they don't really run the score up a ton outside of that San Francisco game, or not run the score up, or attempt to run the score up with.
But even there, they didn't try to. I mean, Darnold only threw 17 times the whole game. They just ran the ball.
They don't attempt to. So I do think you're going to see the game get very paced, be played at a very slow pace, but the time will go very quickly if Seattle's in the lead. So yeah, I think all that stuff is conducive for the under. And there's nothing as bad as betting unders are. There's nothing worse than having an over and the clock is just going at insane speed and the ball's being run all the time. That's also the worst. So I'm not taking that. So we're both going with under here, 45.5. And that's, it's a little bit of a big number. Like that's a big number for a Patriot game.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely.
I mean, like we said, there was a lot of interceptions in that game against Houston, but I believe that was only like 24-12 or something like that. The first game they played was 16-3. And then they had the 10-7. So
yeah,
you could combine two of those games and not get 45.5. So yeah, I just think for the Patriots, the number is big, especially because the Seahawks do have a good defense.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally agree.
All right, let's get into the big one.
What are you putting 5 units on it? I'm putting 5 units.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, let's get into the spread, the big bet of the day. Right now, we are at leading into this game 4.5. Seattle laying the 4.5. This is a lock, as for me, as we talked about. This shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone who's been watching the show, but I'm taking Seattle laying the 4.5. I love it. I think this line came out at 4.5, staying that way this whole 2 weeks. So the public is heavy on the Seahawks. And I think with good reason too. I mean, as we've talked about through this show, the Seahawks are great defensively. Darnold's been great this whole season and the playoffs specifically. They have the weapons with JSN and Kenneth Walker, and then they have a very good defense on the side as well. And I just don't see talent-wise on the field how the Patriots match up at all in terms of on-field talent. Coaching, I think the Patriots have an advantage, but I just don't see how in any way, shape, or form they match up with the talent the Seahawks have.
Yeah, I can't disagree. I mean, it sucks that we agree on this, but yeah, I really, really strongly agree. The thing with every other playoff game the Patriots have played, which to their credit, they've won, which is all that matters. But there was always some sort of caveat with the other team that played, which, I mean, the Chargers had no offensive line and the Broncos didn't have their starting quarterback. I mean, the only team that they played that I think legitimately was a good win was Houston. And everybody talks about CJ Stroud and everything, but look, CJ Stroud played the whole year and they're able to win 8 games. So I give him some credit for that. But Stroud also turned the ball over 4 times. You're like, there's no way Darnold is going to make a small fraction of the mistakes that CJ Stroud made. So like, there's no way they'll be able to do to Darnold what they did to Stroud. And not to mention the Texans had a ton of players injured on their offense. So I just think that this game for the Patriots is on a whole nother level than all the other playoff games that they played. So Seattle is in every way a much more talented team than the
Right.
Patriots. I think a bunch of teams in the NFC that got eliminated would probably beat the Patriots if they had made, like, I think that the Rams would beat them if they had ended up making the Super Bowl. I think maybe even a team like the Bears.
I think the Rams, Bears might have been a little different, but I think if the Rams had beaten the Seahawks, this would be the same exact line.
I think it would be a little less, maybe like 4, 3.5, but probably roughly similar.
But I mean, we'll talk about it. You know, the thing that's scary to me about the Seahawks is how well Cooper Kupp has played too in the playoffs, because if you have to guard other weapons on the field and you have to leave JSN within, one-on-one or in space, you're going to be in big trouble. And so I just think when you look at talent-wise, what the Seahawks team has, I just don't see the Patriots having those same weapons on either side of the ball. But I mean, they're playing, like you said, with their defense winning most of it. I mean, and for, not to mention, we talked about CJ Stroud. I mean, Jarrett Stidham chucking the ball like it was a medicine ball, leading to a fumble touchdown, which should have been a touchdown, was also their only touchdown of the game. So the Patriots were in it, and the Patriots, people forget they have a good defense, but they're horrible. They have a horrible red zone defense. And when you got a guy like Kenneth Walker, you have Kupp now who's playing well, JSN on the edge. I can see the Seahawks just taking advantage of those spots. And defensively, again, the Patriots offense hasn't been great. And I think something that has been overlooked in their wins, which would be talked about more if the Patriots had lost, even though it has been talked about a little bit, is they have a massive weak spot, which is Will Campbell has just been horrible.
Yeah.
And you have the Seahawks who can get to the quarterback, can bring that pressure. I mean, I just think it's going to be a different animal. And we're forgetting about the youth and inexperience, because he has, gotten the wins, even though he hasn't been good, of Drake Maye. And I just don't know if this is going to be a moment for him yet to where he can overcome the level that he's playing against in this game.
I think that Drake Maye is a perfect example of why you can't judge quarterback. I mean, he's not the only example. He's just one of many. Why you can't judge quarterbacks just based on playoff wins, because you can. He proves that you can. And look, I like Drake Maye. I think he's a very, very good player, but he was able to win playoff games without really doing anything. I mean, he beat the Broncos throwing for 86 yards.
Yeah, I feel like wins for a quarterback are kind of like wins for a pitcher.
Yeah.
Like that stat just doesn't mean anything. I mean, and you can look at the other side of it. I mean, I always thought, it's easy to say, I guess, now in hindsight, but I always thought, even when the Jets were horrible, that Darnold was still pretty decent. And it just shows you that you can't always, because Darnold was a horrible record at the Jets. But I mean, when you look at what was put around him and the coach that they had and all that stuff, it really shows you how much a difference that can make, that just being a really talented quarterback, which we knew he was, because he's playing right now where people are surprised. Oh my God, like Sam Darnold. People forget he was the 3rd pick in the draft. Yeah. So he's playing where people thought he was going to be now, but it just shows you that sometimes the talent doesn't show through all the time, because you really do need that stuff around you. You need a supporting cast.
Yeah, and that's the thing, though. Like, and I think that this year, I think Darnold is like the ultimate example for like how I'm not going to view quarterbacks the same way, because I thought it was just a given in everybody's minds that Darnold was a bust. And yeah, that's obviously just true. He had a terrible supporting cast. He had terrible coaching with the Jets. And it's not even just that. There's also quarterback is it's not just a physical position. Yeah. It's a mental position. And it's a position of leadership. And when Darnold was drafted to the Jets, he was 21. Do you expect any 21-year-old to possess to be the leader of a franchise? Like that's not even remotely rational.
No.
So that's the problem. That's the thing with Dante Moore. Like a lot of Jet fans were mad about Dante Moore not coming out of staying in college another year. It's like he only played in college for 3 years and he's 20 years old. How do you think that's going to work out with the Jets?
Yeah.
Do you not remember everything else that's ever happened with this team? So I don't even understand why that was even such a bad thing. I mean, that's the thing with quarterbacks is that very few of them, when they're that young, really have the ability. I also think sometimes players get better.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. They adjust when they get older and they just get better at playing the position. But for the most part, it's that he didn't have the supporting cast. That's really just what it was.
Well, and it's also a guy just got fired for this, but it's also, I think the Vikings sort of thought, even though there was a lot of money, he had a bad 2 games and that was the real him.
Yeah.
At the end of the season, where it seemed it didn't. It might have had more to do with him playing, the Lions, who were an amazing defense that year, and the Rams, who were the closest team to beating the Eagles in all the playoffs last year, and had a chance to make the Super Bowl this year. So it's like he just played 2 really good teams in those games, and he was 14-2 going into it, and they gave up on him. So you do have to feel good for him. Seattle seems to be a place where ex-Jet quarterbacks thrive for some reason. But it really is a good story. So
the Vikings, they tend to move on from quarterbacks way quicker than any other franchise does, just like they did with Kirk Cousins, which was smart. But with Darnold, it was beyond stupid. And they put all their eggs in this J.J. McCarthy basket. I don't know what made them think J.J. McCarthy would be half the quarterback that Sam Darnold was. Did they think that McCarthy could win them 14 games? I don't know what they were thinking. That GM needs to be fired for such bad decisions. Right. He needed to be.
And he was.
He was, yeah.
All right. Do you have any other bets that you want to give out?
I got one more.
Okay.
This is like our money line winner. Kenneth Walker, first touchdown scorer, plus 340. What?
I was about to give out the same exact thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll give out. Let me look then. I was going to give out Kenneth Walker. I'll go JSN plus 550. That I was going to go with Walker though, but
anytime touchdown scorer.
First touchdown scorer.
Oh, sorry, first touchdown scorer.
First touchdown scorer. I also like, if you do think that, which could depend, if you are on the Patriots at all, and you think, okay, maybe they'll win the coin toss, Ramondre Stevenson plus 850 is not a bad bet, and Hunter Henry plus 1300 is also not a bad bet for first touchdown scorer. I feel like the first touchdown scorer, though, for some reason, even though that kind of maybe they're due, it kind of detonates what we just said, but I feel like the first touchdown scorer in the Super Bowl is always someone a little odd.
Yeah, typically is. It typically is. Yeah. I mean, who was the first touchdown scorer last year? Do you know?
No. No. But I'll look it up. But well, we have to hope last year too. This year is a little bit better than last year's.
Well, much better. I'm sure it will be. Last year's Super Bowl. I mean, look, occasionally you're going to get bad Super Bowl. It's going to happen, but most of the time, Super Bowls are great.
Well, and the funny thing about that is there was a really long run, not that long, but maybe like 5 years in the 90s, where there was only like really one good Super Bowl, Super Bowl, and it just how it works sometimes. Jalen Hurts was the first scorer. In last year's Super Bowl. But it's just how it works sometimes, and I feel like there's overreaction a lot of times, especially it happened with college football, where people are like, oh, the college football playoff is terrible because these games are blowouts. The Super Bowl used to be the worst game of the year every year. So, yeah, I'm hoping this one's better. I think it will be. And I think we're both on similar wavelengths. But
yeah, definitely.
Thank you, everyone.
Well, no, we got a little more we got to talk about.
What
I want to talk about. Okay.
Okay.
Well, first of all, getting to what you were talking about with national championship, I think a lot of the people that talked about like the national championship being bad in college football and all that, they were like novice college football fans, because we don't really watch college football for the playoffs and for the national championship. We watch it more for the regular season than we do for like the big game. But the other thing is that, like, look, that's going to happen sometimes because there's only so much you can do to make every game good. Like, some of the games are just going to suck. That's just going to happen sometimes. But I do want to get into some of this stuff. Poly market. Can we go through some poly market odds?
Go ahead. Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
All right. So in poly market, so the way poly market works is that it's not like a sports book. It's a prediction market, which I'm really just adjusting to. And they have a whole lot of picks for the Super Bowl, and also a whole lot of interesting things not for the Super Bowl, which we can get through. So the Seahawks to win outright, 69%.
Nice.
31% Patriots. Yeah. 31% Patriots. Wait, how could we that doesn't even really matter. I want to see the all right. All right, so yeah, or 68% now for Pro Football Champion, 32% New England. Okay, Pro Football Championship MVP. Darnold, 44%. Drake Maye, 27%.
Yeah, so that they're taking in, like I said, they're taking in that they think the Seahawks are going to win, but they know that the quarterback will probably be the winner. But that's why Drake Maye's only at 27%.
Yes. So the exact. Wait, this is a little confusing. It has exact outcome. Seattle beat New. Yeah, what? Okay. Pro Football Championship. I don't know why they don't just say Super Bowl. Gatorade shower color. Blue is 23%. Orange is 23%. Where's green? Interesting. No. Sorry, it's there. It's there. Green / yellow is 22%. Oh, is it because green and yellow are sort of
yeah.
Purple is 12%. Clear / water is 9%. Yep, and no Gatorade shower is 6%, and red or pink is 4%.
Well, red's at 4%, huh?
Wow.
What was one?
What's that?
What was one?
One of them was purple.
No, number one.
Oh, number one was blue and orange were number one, tied at 20.
Yeah, I guess they're figuring that the Seahawks also have a blue. They might go blue, and then the Patriots win, they'll go blue.
Yeah. Wait. Who will call? Can you guess what the percentage is for who will call the first timeout?
53-47.
Oh my God, you're exactly right. Can you guess?
Yeah. Is it Patriots 53?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you have that in front of you, or did you just guess?
No.
Wow.
Well, I guess it got to be close to 50-50, and I figured that if they think the Patriots are going to lose, they figure the Patriots will be in more, I guess, desperate straits. So I figured that, yeah. That's crazy. That's a good one, though. But see, this is what it's like with the prediction markets also, where it can get like, I mean, I guess you could say the same thing about sports gambling, but it can get like a little hairy, like, because, okay, I'm going to call timeout now.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I like these ones too. And that's why a lot of, which we talked about, I don't know if you were, I know that you dipped out a little early on ETB Lounge. I don't know if you were there, but we discussed how the prediction markets are sort of hurting the sports gambling as a whole, because a lot of these states where you can't gamble, California, Texas, as you named, you could do this prediction market stuff. So it's definitely been a thorn in the side of the sports gambling apps.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it's not a thorn in the side of the gambler, but no, I agree completely.
No, of course not. But and it gives them more. But even though I will always just stick with, for sports, I'll always stick with sports betting apps. I have bet elections on Polymarket, but other than that, like, I just don't like the way it fully works with sports. But it's definitely this legal loophole that you figured out. And we talked about this on the show, that Kalshi is going through a lot of litigation because of the legality of it. But as we were talking about on the ETB Lounge, the president's son is on the board of Polymarket now, which was a smart move by them. So that Polymarket's going to be able to sort of have some free reign here, I think.
Yeah, and that's the problem with sports gambling. It's a problem when like a betting site or a prediction market is incentivized to put the president's son on their board. Like that's how you know how corrupt gambling laws are. And they don't make any
for a lot of laws, though. But
a lot of laws. I'm just saying gambling laws because that's our area. Because like they're so ridiculous and make no logical sense. Like in Florida, every game has to be card based, so they play craps with cards. It makes no sense.
And only Hard Rock is the only one that's allowed to do sports gambling in Florida. Yeah, the craps with cards is crazy. If anyone wants to look that up on YouTube, if you're not in Florida, it's a wild game the way they play that.
Yeah, just to make, because if they don't play it with cards, the game is illegal. I don't know what the justification is for it. But here's some non-football, Super Bowl picks, but non-football related. Who will perform at the 2026 halftime show? Obviously, Bad Bunny. Do you know who number 2 is?
Cardi B.
Yep. Wait, how did you know? Did you look that up?
Look, she has a song with Bad Bunny and her husband's playing in the event.
Are they still together?
Yeah.
Oh.
They just had a kid, I think.
I wonder if you watched him strangle the chef.
Yeah. I stumbled upon a Patriots. My algorithm stumbled upon the Patriots' wives' Instagrams, and they're very annoying. Who's I'm trying to think how many artists do they have listed?
A bunch.
You
can even bet on Diddy.
Yeah, that might be a tough.
And Joe Biden and Elon Musk.
Joe.
Like what? You can bet on Joe Biden for 0.5 cents.
Wow.
Which doesn't even make sense. Like, why? I wouldn't risk half a cent because I know he's not going to be Diddy. Same thing with Diddy. None of this. Most of these names are just. I don't even know why they're even there. But
I think people add them in.
And below Cardi B is Travis Scott at 15%.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Do they have any songs together with?
Yeah, I think so. But I think so. I wonder how he's going to do it. I mean, I think that he has to incorporate like some English into his act. So I do think he's probably going to bring someone out like that.
But he speaks English.
Yeah, but none of his songs are in English.
True.
I'm saying I think he's going to need an artist who does English songs to sort of incorporate some of it.
That would be Cardi B.
Right. I mean, yeah. So, but yeah, and they have songs together where he's speaking Spanish, she's speaking English. So, he doesn't have it in there. He does, but yeah, he does speak English. And I mean, he's one of the biggest stars in the world, which is huge. I mean, and not doing it in English is such a difference. But yeah, I think it's going to be definitely an interesting one. But yeah, that's the stuff. I mean, you can bet on it. I remember last year there was like, how many times would the camera show Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
I don't know how, but I've seen like some people who stream on like RainBet, which is like every single streamer basically is an ad for RainBet now. But they bet on like how long a guy's walkout will be in the UFC. Like you can literally do anything in Polymarket. I sent you one time. I'm gonna find the exact wording here. I sent you one time that somebody took. I can't find the one that I sent now, but someone took a parlay where it was like the Seattle Seahawks to win and the U.S. to invade Venezuela, like in the same like a parlay. So you can literally bet on anything, and that's why it's sort of becoming like way different than the sports books, especially with politics.
Yeah, Yeah, no. So there's some other interesting bets. One of them is which companies will run ads during the Super Bowl. I don't know why I keep saying Pro Football Championship.
I mean, that one's easy though. I feel like because you can figure that out. I feel like.
I mean, maybe if you're in the know, but I don't know. I mean, none of us. How many of us really know? So Allstate you can get at 36%.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's it. That's an interesting.
DraftKings has to be in there, no?
DraftKings is not listed.
Well, unless maybe they're stopping that for the Super Bowl, but
well maybe or maybe they don't want to list DraftKings because it's a competitor. I don't know.
No, they would do that.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, that's a good question because you feel like there's a good chance they'd have DraftKings, but you can also, but Google, State Farm, Toyota are all 99%, which
is
means
Dunkin' on there.
What's that?
Dunkin'
Donuts?
Yeah.
It's not listed.
They normally have a good one each year.
I don't know why they wouldn't have that listed. There's a really good chance that they would end up.
Yeah, remember they did the one last year with Jordan in it?
Yeah.
Check.
Super. Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't have that.
Yeah, so the parlay that this guy made that I sent you was the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl, the U.S. to acquire part of Greenland by in 2026, and this one, he lost it because this didn't happen. Was by yesterday for Israel to strike Iran by January 31st, and he put a lot on it, but that was from Polymarket. He made that kind of close too, but yeah, that's how crazy Polymarket has gotten.
Well, if last year it only bet on like the United States to strike Iran, he would have won. So there's some others too that I think are interesting. How many viewers will the Super Bowl have? Over 116 million is only 3%.
Yes. What?
I'm sorry, less than 116 million.
Yeah, I was
only 3%. Yeah. I misread that.
97.3. Or
97.3, yeah.
Okay, so they only gave you those two?
Oh, no. I'm scrolling down right now. The highest number is 140 million plus.
Which is what?
16%.
Mm.
And then, so none of these odds are very high. You can get, so I guess 128 to 132 million is 25%. I would never bet on that because that's not something you could see in the moment.
No. And I don't really know how some of those numbers work. Like, how do they know, like, people watching at Super Bowl parties, people watching at bars, stuff like that?
Yeah, I don't know how they do. I mean, the whole system makes no sense to me regardless. Like, how they figure out how many people are watching anything. It's like in radio, like how they figure out how many people are listening to a radio show. I know the old system was with basically self-reported. Could anything in the world be like less reliable than what people self-report?
Well, and now there's like places that some will count the stream, some won't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which is a controversy. But yeah, but again, that's why Polymarket is going ahead of, or not. It's being a thorn in the side of those apps because you're most of what we talked about was point spread, over under, all that stuff. But if you're more casual, like that other stuff is, might be very intriguing.
Yeah. They also have will Bad Bunny say fuck ICE at the Super Bowl?
What's it at?
10%.
That I might take.
I might take that too. I don't know. But well, here's the thing. It has to say fuck ICE in particular.
No, so but it could be in Spanish though, right?
I don't know. That's a good question. Because it doesn't have that listed. Because if he says it in Spanish, I don't know how you say fuck in Spanish.
Right.
But no. It's funny you say that because I'm looking at it right now and the first comment says, does Spanish count?
And was there an answer on it?
Somebody commented no, but I don't know who that was.
Right.
I would say, I don't know. I think maybe I would take that. The other one is Bad Bunny wears a dress or skirt at the Pro Football Championship. That's at 17%.
Because I think he said he was, and then he like reversed course on it now. So I think that's why it's at 17.
Yeah. I don't know. I would. I don't think it's. I don't think. I just because he said one thing doesn't mean it's actually going to happen.
No,
and then yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no. I was gonna say same thing. Same doesn't mean it's not going to happen either.
Yeah, and also, wait. Here's a good one. Actually, it's not really a good one. Coin toss winner wins the Super Bowl. That's 50%. You can also pick and we were talking about the national anthem. National anthem time, 100. Where is it? All right, under 80 seconds, 3%.
Yeah, no, it normally goes well over 2 minutes.
You can 110 to 120 seconds is now at 43%. Same with 120 to 130 seconds. Yeah. And then it gets much lower with 130 to 140.
See, the seconds fucks me up because I have to do that fucking math. But I normally I think the over under is around about like 2.5 or something like that minutes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Let me just. It's It's going to be who's singing? It's going to be Charlie Puth. So
Charlie Puth.
Yeah, you know him, the singer?
Yeah. What about him?
He's singing the anthem.
Oh, he's singing the anthem. Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So I could see him dragging out maybe, but yeah, we'll have to see. But I normally take the over because I do feel like a lot of like artists realize the moment they're in and kind of take their time with it.
I don't think you can bet that on DraftKings.
No.
They would never allow it.
No, but I don't know. I'd have to look again. It's definitely probably not legal in New York, but I remember ESPN Bet used to do some pop culture bets, but I do think that they've sort of started to discontinue that bet, the national anthem bet, since that Super Bowl where the guy filmed the rehearsal. That one's sort of tapered off a little bit of places that will allow it.
Yeah, like I don't know. Did you ever bet on the Pro Bowl?
No.
Okay. All right. So you're not that degenerate of a gambler.
No, but I have bet on. I do normally bet the over NBA All-Star game though.
Oh, want to hear something funny? Here's what will be said during the Super Bowl. 82% is legendary.
Okay.
85% Olympics/Olympic.
Yep. Yeah, that's definite. Yeah.
Knee injury, 43%. Flushed out or flush out, 58%. Poly market, 8%. Style, 88%. Jump ball is at 39%. Baby, 45%.
Hold on. Isn't the Super Bowl on NBC this year?
Mm-hmm.
So how is Patrick Mahomes not at 99%?
That's what I was gonna say. How is Patrick Mahomes not on there? Or Mahomes? No, he is there. Mahomes, he is there. Mahomes is at 68%.
I love it. It should be at 100%.
No, it gets better. It gets better. And Michael Maye is at 41%.
What?
And Michael Maye, that's Drake Maye's wife.
Drake. Okay, gotcha. And
Michael Maye's at 41%. It sounds like the name of like an old president's wife's name.
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
And it gets better. Bake Miss is at 44%. I mean, the thing is that the likelihood of Ann Michael Maye or Bake Miss being brought up is not very high if the Patriots aren't winning.
What is it?
Bake Miss. That's what Drake Maye's wife does on TikTok.
Oh, okay.
You must not waste a lot of time on TikTok.
No, why didn't you know she was when you said the name? So I was like,
I was surprised you didn't know. I actually follow Drake Maye's wife on TikTok because the comments are incredible. The comments are like, "Come on, make something good for our husband." It's amazing.
Olympics too should be at 99% because they're definitely going to do an advert for the Olympics.
Wait, what if? No, it gets better. ICE/Border Patrol is at 62%.
being said, but what do they consider? They're saying being said by the commentators.
But I don't know. That's the question that I have, because in what context would there's no way that that they're going to say that during the broadcast. But here's what you have at 50%. Now here's a guy.
Yeah,
you got to do that one.
How's that only 50%?
I don't know. How is Mahomes only 68%?
Yeah, so some good stuff out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could get in this all day, but that's gonna be about it. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in all football season long. We're gonna have some stuff coming up with March Madness and all that going on. A lot going on ETB on Sunday. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Good luck with all the bets. Enjoy the Super Bowl.
And I think we might be back in 2 weeks. We'll be doing some college basketball shows for sure. I just got to start following it a little more. Then I can make some picks.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll get into that stuff. Thank you guys so much, and enjoy the game.